You are welcome to Olives. My name is Olivia. As seen by the title, we are going to be making a shirred dress. We are basically going to couple the sheer top, the tiered skirt, as well as the off-shoulder ruffle to make a full dress. So you want to keep on watching, and I bet you'll not regret this. So let's get right into this video. In the first part of this video, we cooked the lower part of the dress, which is the three-tiered skirt. Okay, so this is now the shared top, or let's say bodice. Okay, not really a top, just a bodice. I went ahead to cut lining for it. This is because this particular chiffon is transparent, you can see it, so I had to just um, cut out the same as lining and join them together. So instead of hemming twice like drafted in the first part, I'm just going to stitch about half inch of it. Okay, we added about 3/4 and now I'm stitching half inch. So all I'm going to do is stitch, trim off excess. You can just make a normal hem if you are using a non-transparent fabric. Go ahead to top stitch, as I always say, which becomes an under stitch. Okay, top stitch on the lining, take the excess towards the lining and top stitch. I'll grab the lining and the main material together, just top stitch around the armhole and then the side. After stitching, especially the armhole, I'll go ahead and trim off a bit of excess just to blend the armhole together. And what I'll do is to grab bias. This is a half-inch bias and I just press them together on fold. Okay, so I'm going to use this bias, fold in the edge this way and align the edge, the folded edge, right together with the beginning of the armhole, and just bind the armhole in a way of neatening it. In place of the bias, you can as well neaten and hem the armhole. We are doing this before we start stitching the elastic thread onto the bodice. Okay, we are done with the armholes, so the next thing to do is to work on the elastic thread. Okay, so in this video you'll be seeing both white and red. The red is an excess I use for an elastic dress, and so I'm just making use of the excess with this white as well. So this is how the elastic thread also looks like. Okay, so you need your bobbin, and this is my bobbin. I'm just going to wrap the elastic thread manually to the bobbin. A good trick is to prevent stretching the elastic thread too much. Okay, just allow it and stretch it a little bit while you roll it around the bobbin. Okay, don't do too much by stretching, just allow it to breathe while you are rolling. Okay, so this is one. I would advise that you should have more than one bobbin so that you can roll the elastic thread as much as you can, because it is elastic, and while rolling you did not stretch too much. While stitching, it will tend to finish fast, so you need more bobbin to help you work faster. Another hack is to loosen the screw on your bobbin case. Okay, it is mostly tightened, I mean mostly horizontal to your direction, so all you have to do is loosen it. Why? Because the elastic thread is thicker than our usual thread, so the elastic thread needs space to pass through so it doesn't struggle trying to stretch and also gather in a way. Do you get? So you need to loosen it so the elastic thread will come out easily. So I'll go ahead to put it into the space and we'll begin to work. So this is a sample of me loosening the bobbin case. I mean, it is important to loosen the bobbin case if you want a very nice elastic effect. Okay, also I will say that if you have an extra bobbin case, just loosen that one for your elastic thread only and keep one for your straight stitch, because whenever you're ready to work with your straight stitch, you have to tighten it back before you work. Does it make sense? So let's begin. I'll go ahead and start from the beginning and to the end. That's the beginning of the neckline. Okay, and I will not back stitch. All I'll do is pivot and turn over this way and continue. I'm using my foot as a guide while stitching. In other way, you can just measure or use ruler to mark half inch, 3/4 inch, whatever interval you want between all your elastic stitches. So I'll continue with this till I am fully done. Now you can as well use this method for any type of dress. I mean this sharing effect. Okay, you can definitely use it for any design, and be ready for your elastic thread to keep on finishing, and you have to change your bobbin. Okay, so this is it, and you can use it for your sleeve as well. You see how nice it looks like? Yeah, you can try that as well. All right, so that's just by the way. Let's continue. I'm going to continue stitching until again I am done. Yeah, sometimes this is how I watch movie while I'm working. Just forwarding, just forwarding, because there's no time to properly watch the movie. Oh goodness. Oh. Hmm. So yeah, I'll continue stitching. So again, you indicate your interval. Do not backstitch from your beginning. You can backstitch if you want, but as you continue, just stitch and then pivot, move to the next line that you continue on, and just stitch again. You get? At this point, I am done stitching. I make sure to stitch till I get to the end. Okay, I finish all the excesses on the fabric. What am I saying? All right, so this is how it looks like. Can you see? It looks so good, and you see more beauty by the time we use the steam iron. This is also the side seam. I'm trying to give you all the details so you can see properly. Okay, so let's go ahead and steam press or iron instead. There is one beautiful thing I noticed, that whenever you are stitching with the elastic thread, it loses its strength. Okay, because you are stretching, or the foot in the machine is stretching it while you are stitching. So when you are done stitching and you seam press this, each rows of all the elastic threads shrink back to their normal stitch as you saw them when you started using. Okay, so this also like kind of packs your fabric together, and it looks so beautiful. It looks so beautiful, and whenever I'm pressing, I just like this stitch. The fact that it just shrinks by itself is so nice and beautiful. You can see by the time I press how beautiful it looks, right? Yeah, that is how yours will look like. And if you go through the same process, all the tips I give you, you should see this effect. All right, so we have both front and back now. The next thing to do is to grab both the front and back together and place them right sides facing. For now, we do not know which is the front. Okay, so I'm going to pin, and after pinning, I'll go ahead and stitch with half inch. But before that, this is where we determine either front or back. Okay, so you fold it this way and determine where you want it to be the back. I'll pick the red one as the back and go up by 1.5 inch. So this way the back does not drop too much to almost your hip. All right, I really do not like the way it looks, so which is why I'm trimming. And I tell you, I went in by another half inch, I guess, to stitch more. So later you see that the back becomes more deeper than it is now. And after I wore it, it was still looking nice. So what I'm doing now is blending. After taking out that excess, I'm just blending it together with the side. So now I'm ready to stitch my half inch. Make sure you have extra half inch on the side of the bag before you trim. Do not trim off, so you have the sides of the bag shorter than the front. Does it make sense? I also went ahead to stitch the lines twice. My side seam on each side I stitched twice. I have no reason why I did, but I just felt it would be better. Okay, maybe because it will be stretching, so I feel it should be stronger for the stretchy effect. Does it make sense? So this is how it looks like, and if you see the back, it looks much more deeper. So now I'll go ahead again and blend the back to the front. You see what I just did? And I did that for both sides. Now our main bodice is ready. Now let's move to the ruffle shoulder, the off shoulder part. If you watch the first video, I used the method of dividing the round of all my ruffles by 4, okay, and marking each of the quarter parts, so this way it will be easier to be attached. And I use the same row, hem row method for the hem of this one as well. Do you see how it looks like? All right, so what we are going to do is divide the front into 2 and mark the center, and we'll do the same thing to the other. Okay, so this is how it looks like. The next process is to measure around your off shoulder, and whatever measurement you get, that is what you would use, and subtract about 5 to 7 inches from that measurement. Okay, my round shoulder measurement is 42 inches, so you just subtract whatever you want from it, or use the elastic band like I'm doing around your shoulder and use that. Okay, either ways, use whatever measurement you have, and after you are done you can just adjust. Okay, now there is an opening that I left on the ruffle, and I'm going to use safety pin. I usually like to use my teeth to hold it in place so it doesn't lose. Also, while cutting the ruffle for this, I did a lot of cut and joints. Okay, so what I did was to top stitch both sides after cutting and joining like this. Just after joining, I top stitch on both sides of the allowance. This way, when I'm inserting the elastic band with the safety pin will not pass the wrong place. Okay, so that is what I did, and please take note so you do the same. Okay, so all I'll do is finish up, but my ruffle is actually really much, right? So I decided to change to this tool, and then I use that instead to easily insert the elastic band. You see, it is long, right? And it is flexible, it's plastic, so it was just flexible to go through, and it was actually easier than using safety pin because it is long. Okay, so if yours is not as mine, then safety pin will do the job for you. Okay, so yeah, so after done with this tool, this is how it looks like. I went ahead to adjust on my body, and this was the excess I took out. So even after you are done inserting the elastic band, it is good to put it on you and adjust. Okay, so you see how it fits, especially for the fact that I'm going to turn this ruffle into detachable. Okay, so I needed to be flexible enough to do anything for me. So all I did was top stitch on the elastic band, and I made sure to pull my ruffle so the stitched part of the elastic band goes inward really well. And then finally I went ahead to close that little opening, and this is how the ruffle looks like. The final thing now is to attach our three-tiered skirt to our main bodies. Okay, so I'm going to match the center front to the center of the ruffle. I'll go on to place the skirt and then the bodies together this way, and locate the center back as well as the center back of the skirt, pin it together. I'll do the same to the side, locate the side of the ruffle, same here, and pin them together. I know that when cutting the tiered skirt, there was no front, there was no back or side. All you do is divide the skirt into 4 equal parts and you denote where will be where, if that makes sense. So I just made sure that I kind of allow the joint parts to be around the center back or the side, but not the front. Okay, so all I'm going to do is stitch with 1/2 inch, and what I did was to use the elastic thread at the bobbin, but normal thread on top, just like the way we did for the bodies. Okay, this way we'll be able to kind of gather both the bodies and the skirts together. Okay, you need it to be stretchy as well as the bodies so you can wear it easily. Okay, so what you do is while stitching, you pull and stitch, pull and stitch. Because you've already divided all of them into 4, you have an excess for a particular part. Okay, and moreover, the round measurement of both the skirt and the top are the same, so by the time you pull, they are all going to be together. When you have an excess, just use your hand to make a pleat in it or gathers and stitch. Okay, again, make sure you use an elastic thread at the bobbin area. Okay, so all I did was stitch with half inch round. Remember to pull while you stitch. Okay, after stitching, you notice that the waistline looks like gathers, which is what we are looking for. Okay, because of the elastic thread, it looks like gathers, but when you pull, it is stretchy, so you can easily wear it. All right, so now let's move on to cutting lining for the lower part, which is the skirt. This is optional. We are also going to make use of the exact waist measurement, just like we did for the bodies. Okay, so now I have my fabric on my lining folded into 2, and I'm going to grab it this way and then fold again into 4, but this time in this form. Okay, now you know that the waist measurement of the pattern we use is quarter of the waist, right, plus extra allowance for the elasticity. Now what I'm going to do is to locate 12.5 inches here, so I'll keep on bringing down the tape until I find 12.5 inches and mark it this way. The next thing to do is to measure from the tip of the folded part this way down to the marked point, and just note that measurement and use that to mark round just like you see. This way we are going to have our waistline in a curved way, which is a circle. Okay, so I'm just going to measure to confirm my measurement. That's 12.5 inches. Okay, so I'll go ahead and connect my points together, and above this we are going to mark extra 1/2 inch, which is also going to be used as joining allowance. Okay, so after doing this, all you do is measure from the first line, which is the actual waistline, down and measure the length of your lining. Please make sure that your lining is at least shorter than your actual length of dress or skirt. Okay, I'll move on to also connect the points together, and afterwards cut. I'll also cut the top here. Now I'm going to notch the center. Before I do that, we will be stitching with 1/2 inch, I mean the center back. Okay, so where the opening is will be the center back. All right, so I'm going to pull in so that I can have 1/2 inch, then I can notch the center front, and here will be the side, and wherever is there as an excess will be the center back, which we will join together. Does it make sense? All right, So this is it. This is our lining. I'll go ahead and stitch the center back in place. That's not all, we also have to work on the strap, okay, and it is an adjustable strap. This is about 1.5 inch width of strap, okay, and I'm going to use the actual opening of my adjustable brass slider to stitch. So if your slider is smaller, or however the width is, that is what you use to stitch. That way it can fit into it, okay. So now I'll go ahead and turn my strap inside out. I actually made it a very long strap so I can divide it into two and use one for each strap, okay. So I'll go ahead again and use my loop turner to turn the strap inside out. So this is what we have. I'll fold it into two equal parts, and then by folding into two equal parts, this is what we have. I'll cut it. So that's 27.5 inches. This is more than you need, but you can just cut away the excess. All right, now the measurement we took off from the pattern while drafting, I made the bodice, was about 5.5 inches, okay. So multiplying that by 2, that's both front and back together, we'll be having about 11 inches in total. So even if you don't want to use an adjustable strap, you should be able to have 11 inches exactly, okay. Make sure you add allowance, and afterwards have a result of 11 inches or maybe more if you want an ease, okay. Now out of these 27.5 inches, I'm going to cut out 2 inches. So we'll be using this 2 inches strap, mini strap, and this is the brass slider I'll be using. This is number 8, okay. We have 0, 8 and 9, so I'm using just 8 together, okay. Sometimes you can use 8 and 9, that means you can remove the strap if you want, okay, but we are going to use this, and I'll grab one and just place it in so we're going to place it in this way, okay. So we have something like this. For one strap you will need 2 of the sliders, so in total you need 4, okay. So this is the center back, and I'm going to place this slider on the center back, but I will allow a little allowance on the side, which I'll fold in. Can you see the one with the bias, the armhole? And just fold it in this way. Then I'll go ahead and top stitch right there. So after working on that, this is how it looks like. Now we need to grab the other extra strap, okay, the same 27 that we cut the 2 inches from it, and we are just going to place it like we did for the back. Just place one side like this inward, the edge, and then make sure you have the excess to fold in, and then we top stitch. So after doing that, make sure you straighten your strap, okay. Make sure you have it in a straight manner so it doesn't twist, right. And then I'll pick the other brass slider, and you need to be attentive here, okay. You place it in and out first, so we have something like this, okay. We can call this the front part of the strap, okay. Can you see? Now we will also have to place it together with the back, so you place it inside like this and bring it out. Make sure it is straight, okay. You see the one that is now an excess, we need to put it together with this brass slider, but we'll do it behind, which is the back. Now the part that is nice will be the front, and this side will be the back. So now what we are going to do is to place it this way. Can you see my hand? Can you see? So we are going to put it inside out, but before that I'm going to pull out the first one so I can have easy way out. So I'm going to place it in this way and out. You see? So all you do is bring it out and then put it inside again and bring it out. This part is not difficult, okay? It's just like doing it the way you did first, but it's happening at the wrong side. So all you do is pull, and you can take out the excess by doing this. Take a lot of excess off. Make sure after you finish you should have your 11 inches. You can even have it lesser than that, especially if you are doing the adjustable. So if it is even lesser than the 11, you can always adjust. If it's more than the 11, you can always adjust. Okay, so now I'm going to pull and make sure both of the straps are equal. Okay, so after that, then I know I can proceed. Now what we are going to do is cut off the excess at the back. Okay, so I'll turn over to the back this way and cut off this excess that we have. So after cutting, I'll trim off the side this way and melt the sides this way so it doesn't fray. Okay, then I'll fold that extra excess inward. Now you need to fold to the part that is the wrong side. Okay, we do not want to see any stitch on the right side of the strap, so whatever you do should be on the wrong side of the strap, the inner part of the strap. When you are doing it, I'm sure you understand better. So after folding, I'll go ahead and top stitch to lock the whole strap in place. Okay, so after doing that, this is how it looks like. That's the wrong side, and this is also the right side. So after all of this, you also notice that the excess that we stitched is in between the loop we've created with the strap. Okay, can you see? So now you can go ahead and adjust if you want. Okay, just easily adjust if you want. Now what we are going to do is to finally stitch the armhole together. Okay, now we folded this for the front and the back, right? So the rest of the armhole is left out. So all we are going to do is fold it in and top stitch. So then that will be all for the adjustable strap. Okay, so make sure you stitch and then move up here and back stitch. So this is what we have. So now this is the free dress. Okay, and I love the fact that I did this dress detachable. So this way, whenever I want to look simple, I'll just put on this dress without the ruffle. Okay, now this is the lining. I stitched the center back together, and what we will do now is join the lining to the waistline of the dress. Okay, so now I'm going to locate the center back and match it to the center back of the dress. That's the waistline. Okay, just locate it and match it. Obviously I've also divided the lining into 4 while notching. We knew, right? So now we have the center back and we have all our notches together. So we'll pin the center back, the side, and all we are going to do is to still stitch with the elastic thread at the bobbin. Okay, you stitch with the elastic thread because at the end you still want the dress to be stretchy so you can wear it, because it doesn't have zip. Our zip is the elastic thread. So all you do is pull and stitch, and this is what we have at the wrong side of the dress. Now the very last thing to do is to work on the ruffle. This part is optional because I am not going to do this for this dress. Okay, but in case you want to attach your ruffle together with your dress, I believe you remembered we divided the front into 2, which is this notch here, and the back as well. So I did same for the ruffle, and all I did was to match all these marks together. Okay, now the next thing to do after meeting all the excess is to pull from the armhole area to the center and top stitch. But me, if I want to do this method, there is no way I could, because my ruffle is too much. It's not according to my off shoulder really. Okay, So after pulling everything, you should have this excess which your hand can pass through in and out easily. Okay, so make sure while stitching you just pull it and top stitch them together. If you enjoyed watching and learning with me, please give this video a thumbs up, to subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think in the comment section in case you try it out, okay? And yeah, what else? Share and subscribe to the channel, okay? I'll see you in the next one.